Darso. Fuck yes. Welcome back to the Hype host. Jonathan Hardesty. Welcome back. CHEWIE Darso.
Hi.
Emily Blake.
Hey.
And this week, no Sam Garrison. It's a rare
I'm
rarity.
back, so she had to go.
Emily is officially back.
I yanked her out of the chair. I said, "Get the fuck out, bitch." I'm kidding. She's a delightful
place.
person.
This is my house.
I was gonna say, it got real awkward for us.
I appreciate her covering for me, so I could go get dumped.
And this week, back for the first time in a long time, we have Tom Ford.
Hello, everybody.
Ford.
Director of A Single Man.
Yeah, was the last time we had you on Nocturnal Animals?
I think so, yeah.
So I was like,
She reads a book.
yeah. I was like,
So come and talk about Tomb Raider movies.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's perfect.
yeah, when he's not doing fashion, working in radio, or directing films, he's here talking about podcasts.
Well, half of Tomb Raider is about the fashion. Apparently.
That's true. Yeah.
And and the choices they made.
Yeah. And the choices they shouldn't have
That
made.
is so early 2000s.
Oh boy.
All right, so we'll move into where have you been doing. I can go first. I saw Annihilation, and I really liked it. I'm really excited that Carl Urban has come out and finally destroyed the rumor of who actually directed Dredd and said that it was Alex Garland. And now I have 3 films by Alex Garland that I can love.
Wait, I didn't even know that was a question mark.
Yeah. Because he's not listed as the director, but there was always this turmoil of like, how much did the director actually do, and was it just Alex Garland the whole time? Wow. And Carl Urban said, my director was Alex Garland.
Wow.
So in my mind, he
Who
directed.
got named the director?
I don't remember his name, but kind of sucks for that guy.
Yeah.
Well, if he didn't direct the movie,
But
then,
yeah, if he didn't do the work, then sorry, dude. But either way, Annihilation is a very, very beautiful film. I think people should watch it. And if you are unfortunate and not able to see it in theaters, when you watch it at home, put your cell phone in a different room, put your computers in a different room so you
Turn
cannot
off your lights.
Turn off your lights. Try to treat it like a theater experience, because this movie is very important that you don't look away and that you can just kind of, because the movie is slow and plotting, but in a very good way. But if you get distracted and get pulled out of it, it's going to be tough to jump back in. So it really needs that like sensory deprivation, much like in a very different way, much like Detroit from last year. If you watch it outside of a theater, it's easier to look away, and this one really requires you to be in the film, and it's fantastic. And I'm excited for anything Alex Garland does from here on out, if I wasn't already.
Yeah.
That's it for me.
Come back to me. I'm still thinking of mine.
Cool.
I'll talk about one thing.
Okay.
Brian and I have been part of the incredible minority of people that are watching AP Bio.
What? All 10 of us.
And I'm
It's on
like,
my short list.
it's gotten 5 episodes on TV, guys. And
It's
they're
more than I thought
they're
I would
on Hulu. I enjoy the writing of AP Bio. I think it's got a lot of potential to grow and be a great comedy. Sorry to get into my set stuff really fast, and sorry if I actually know anyone personally who works on this show, but the lighting needs work.
And the blue and yellow.
Yes. Well, the blue and yellow is definitely a stylistic choice between the directors, it has to be, and the props people and the production designer, because everything is blue and yellow. I'm not really sure what they're trying to say with that. It's probably the school colors, but it's weird that it's on everyone's clothing, and it's on the walls, it's on the carpets, on the furniture, it's everywhere. Blue and yellow. But the biggest problem I have with this show is that everything is so lit. Like, everyone is just, like, Patton Oswalt almost looks like he could be an albino in some scenes.
Like Michael Bay level.
No, at least Michael Bay made everyone look bronze.
It's more like it's done much better here, but more like Quentin Tarantino's DP, where he just super heavy lights everything from the top, so every like surface glows.
Yeah, the people's faces are glowing. There's lights in the background that are just blasting white.
Yeah, they're just saving money by not hiring any grips.
I don't know. And there was one shot when they went to this one woman's house, and there was a lamp on a white table, and that white table was glowing. And it was like distracting from the actors. It's just like, okay, we need to take it down a few notches.
Yeah.
I hope they stop doing that. I don't know if maybe.
We'll see. I mean, we'll see if it even gets picked up. I'm pretty sure it's going to get canceled here. Like every day I look at the news, I'm like, is AP Bio canceled yet? I hope not. I enjoy it, but
yeah, I don't know. I mean, but I still enjoy the show. The performances are actually really good.
the kids are great.
The kids are fantastic. The supporting cast is fantastic. Glenn, I think he needs to grow outside of Dennis some more.
Yeah.
As the show's going on, I'm seeing less Dennis and more, I don't remember what his new character's name is.
Not Dennis.
Not Dennis. So he just needs time to grow, essentially, because he's been Dennis for so freaking long.
Yeah. When we first started watching it, I think you accurately pointed out the relation to Parks and Rec, where it started as like an Office clone and then had to get like its own footing and then became a wonderful show. I don't know what this is a clone of, but it's not its own thing yet.
It just
and
needs,
once
it needs
gets
its
there,
time to grow.
yeah, I think it'll be one of the funniest shows on TV. It
Whether
just
or
needs to
not
get there.
it gets that time, because it doesn't sound like the ratings are going up. It
No.
really depends on the production company right now. Be like, are you going to give it the funding or not?
Yeah, it's really, but it has Lauren Michaels behind it, so
Yeah.
that might help it. But we'll
It's
see.
just too bad because that's like all the comedies that we have are like as staples now. They were rough starts, man.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you got to take time with this stuff because
Yeah, they can't all be Seinfeld.
right.
And even Seinfeld took time.
I disagree.
Not
It took time to
not be
grow,
good.
but it was brilliant from
I
frame
mean, it
one.
was
Yeah.
really,
But to grow
the
that
Star
act-
Trek:
Sure,
The Next
yeah.
Generation took time.
Well,
Yeah.
the comedies are a little bit tougher though, because you don't know what the audience is going to laugh at.
So, if you get a chance, I highly recommend to give AP Bio a chance. It's not perfect, but I think it might get closer as people watch it.
And then it'll be canceled.
Yeah.
Maybe. We don't know.
I mean, if you can get past the tickling teacher and not laugh, then I don't
Oh
get
my
what's
god,
funny
the
to you.
tickler was like the highlight of the entire show so far.
Yeah. Next.
All right, I've got one. Haven't been doing a whole lot, so this is going to be more for a service or a site that I've been trying out because, as I mentioned before, I watch a lot of Critical Role and things
Yes.
from Geek and Sundry. So I've been trying out, and I've now done it for a few months. This Project Alpha that they did with Nerdist, and as far as the service goes, for the cost of money and just the content on there, it's pretty good. I've been enjoying it, and it hasn't felt like $4 ill spent, $4 or $5 ill spent, and I really like it. They got a good quality stream going on and all that, but it's really basically I've been watching a lot of those shows and doing things at the same time
Yeah.
because it's easy to kind of switch back and forth because there's like this beautiful kind of middle range between like podcast and live action thing.
Sure. Yeah.
So I definitely recommend it if you have a little extra to spare for a web service. And
Tom, what about you? Where have you been doing?
Hey,
What?
hey!
What's
She's
wrong
the
with?
host.
Don't I get to go next?
Anyone can go next. I was
Oh,
just
we usually
throwing
go
it at
around
Tom.
the table in fucking in a clockwise
We
order.
jumped all around.
That's true.
I broke the order.
Yeah, he
I
broke
thought you
the-
just forgot about me.
No, I was
'Cause
just
I haven't
saying
been
Tom.
here for so long.
We only forgot about Dre.
Tom or Emily, what about you? Where have you been
I will
doing?
concede to Emily as the host.
You want to fight?
I'll
saving
pretend
the
I'm
best.
chivalrous.
Cheers to Tom. Go ahead.
All right, I'll go ahead. I've been playing Monster Hunter World on the PS4.
Oh, cool,
and
cool.
I've particularly enjoyed it. First Monster Hunter game I ever played. Got some friends, so it's just fun killing the animals. PETA hates me now, but yeah, and I think we were talking earlier before we were on the air, like you see the animals like limping and you're like, oh, I'm so close to killing them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of that sort of vibe and collecting things, and it's RPG. That's all it is.
Cool.
How's the grind as far as like the RPG elements go? I've heard very different things from different people.
I mean, I haven't actually gotten to the point where I'm grinding yet. I'm kind of just progressing and beating different beasts right now. But basically, it seems like once you get to the end of the story, it just becomes Destiny, and you're just grinding for animal parts. So
Cool.
I'm not there yet. So I'm
What's
still enjoying it.
your weapon of choice?
I've got the insect glaive.
Okay.
So you shoot these little insects, and then you get 3 additional power-ups, and then you can vault over the monsters and try and mount them, which is kind of cool.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Do you think they'll ever make a video game that's like a themed lightly on sexual assault and just be called it grinding?
Oh my god.
Just go around town.
Well, there's your million.
Raping?
You gain your points by just going up to random people and grinding on them.
Rape the game.
There is actually
But it's just grinding, no real rape.
Okay.
I mean,
there's actually a
Green
pickup.
light, maybe?
Rape game.
There is actually
Yeah.
a pickup artist game out on Steam now.
Ew.
Where you grind on people.
It's like a FMV style thing where you go around as a pickup artist and
yeah.
it's
The video game
awful.
industry is kind of like Rule 34. If you think about it, there's a porn version of it.
Because every time guys talk about, I had to grind real hard last night, I'm just like, I know what you're talking about, but that's not what I'm thinking.
Emily, what about you? Where have you been doing?
All right. I saw. It's not really exciting. I saw a movie called Golden Slumbers, which is a Korean film. It's in theaters now, or is as of this recording. It's funny because the first time I went on a date and there were no subtitles. We went to the Korean theater and we saw we went in. We were all like got popcorn and sat down, and the movie started. And we were like, "What the fuck is happening?" And actually, yes, in that particular movie, I was like, "No, I'm willing to try it," but my date was not, and I was just like, yeah, good," because I had no idea what was happening. And we went back and finally saw it, and it was really not worth the effort. Because it was okay. It wasn't a terrible movie. It was just full of a lot of cliches. Like there's nothing in the movie that I haven't seen before. It's about a really nice model citizen man who saved a woman from being attacked and got a little press coverage, and as a result he is turned into a patsy for the murder of a politician. And then everyone's out to get him because it goes all the way to the top, and they chase him around town, and his I guess spoilers, his girlfriend turns out to be like one of them, but then like she's just barely important at all, and then she does that thing where while they're fighting, I did appreciate that he has no fighting skill whatsoever. So he gets out of fighting mostly by being and then like punching people in the dick and stuff. I don't think he actually ever does.
I like to call
that
that Mortal Kombat.
But like there's a scene where his girlfriend's fighting him, and at one point she like does that thing where she's up on one leg with her other leg extended over her head, and it's all impressive. It's like all you have to do if someone does that is push them. I don't understand why we keep doing that in movies where women will be like, I can stand on one leg and put my other leg, boop, push you over and we're done. Like what? Why is that a thing? Anyway,
Because it's a woman spread-eagled.
Yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, I just thought it was an okay movie. It wasn't terrible, but there was nothing new, and so yeah, really not worth going to see twice.
Cool.
Endorsement.
So nice, you saw it twice. Wow.
It was better with subtitles.
That's on the box art now. It was better with subtitles.
That's the greatest compliment it's going to receive.
Yep.
It wasn't a bad movie. It just wasn't a good movie. It was a meh movie.
Are we ready to talk Tomb Raiders?
Yes.
Is that the transition?
I am ready.
Sure.
I am ready to talk ponytails, tank tops, and guns.
Oh my god, yes, please.
Sure.
Ponytails.
Yeah.
And braids.
And braids. So the numbers game really quick for Tomb Raider and Tomb Raider. Lara Croft : Tomb Raider and Lara Croft Tomb Raider : A Cradle of Life.
Colons.
Yeah, they like to play with where they throw those colons. So the first one did very well, cost $115 million, made worldwide 274, so not huge, but still pretty well. The second one, not so much, cost 95, made 65 stateside, ended up making 156 worldwide, and then Angelina Jolie apparently just went, fucking, I'm done, and that was.
She already looked like she didn't want to do it.
Oh,
anymore.
she was totally out by the end of the second movie. So, yeah, that's where the franchise essentially died until tomorrow. But before we do anything, plot-wise, we should probably talk 30-second breakdown. This week, I am going to do a 30-second breakdown along with Tom. I was not really paying attention either time I watched these things, so I really don't remember a lot of what's going to happen, so I'm pretty much just going to make it up.
Which one are we doing?
Tom, I'll leave it up to you. Which one would you rather do?
I guess I'll pick the second one, but I think my summary will be basically the same movie.
Okay, I might be able to do better with the first one.
Okay, fair enough.
So that could. I'm still pretty much just been making it up as I go.
All right, ready for 30-second breakdown? Go, go, go!
So Tomb Raider
there's an
opens
ancient
with
prophecy.
Lara Croft fighting a robot for
And,
some reason. Then turns out that she shouldn't have been
she's
fighting a
got a-
robot because it's a friend robot. And then she finds out that her
so
dad
ancient prophecy,
is.
and then you have to
don't remember that at all.
basically put the two
she goes on
MacGuffins
an
together
adventure to find
and,
a thing. A clock that isn't a clock.
Well,
and then
she finds
uses it to
a key
find
to a future
half
MacGuffin, which is the Pandora's
triangle,
box.
and then hangs out with Daniel
She has
Craig.
to stop Pandora's box
and
from
then
being opened.
she
and
wins
eventually,
somehow. I don't really remember.
Mance
though.
Rayner
It was
is
really
the evil bad guy,
forgettable.
and she stops him, and then she has to kill her love interest.
She
and
rides a
wins.
sled with dogs.
That was difficult with the hearing your voice as I was trying to talk.
And I couldn't remember how the movie ended until I remembered the dog sled.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, dogs.
I definitely lost like 8 seconds just trying to think of. I'm hearing your voice, and I'm like,
Just saying, I forget.
yeah.
Emily, who won?
Oh. We all won.
The audience did. Perfect. Okay, so Tomb Raider. As you could just tell from our breakdown, they are the most memorable and exciting films of the early 2000s. So really quick, before we kind of jump into everything on this thing, we're doing both of them as one thing because I've seen them both and I really couldn't remember the difference between them. So I figured just more fun just talk about both of them. But there's something to be said about video game movies and how much they all suck. Like, it's just kind of a thing that we've come to expect. Like, we're sitting down for a video game movie. If it doesn't star Milla Jovovich, it's probably a bad movie. And even if it does, it's just a good bad movie, not just like a bad movie, unless you count the last 2 Resident Evil movies. But there's something to be said about, we always want a video game movie. We always want, like, a lot of people want a Dead Space. People want a BioShock. A lot of people want Mass Effect, although that's a terrible idea.
I want a Zelda movie.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's a lot of these things.
Not that it's going to be
It's like
good.
it's like this weird attitude we
But I
have where
want
it's like,
though.
look at this awesome game. Look at this awesome game that you're playing and you're very active in. Let's just sit back and be passive.
Yeah.
It's a very weird mentality to go in to try to do.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people who are like, I want it to be more like the video game, and they're usually not great movies. And we can point to the Tomb Raider movies of, if we go too much like the video game, they still suck, guys. Because this one is super, especially the first one, more so than the second one, super like a Tomb Raider game.
I don't think the first movie sucks.
I don't think it sucks. It's not very good, though.
There's a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Especially with aging. It's so early 2000s and
Oh,
the
yeah.
choices they made for a lot of stuff.
It's a time capsule.
Yeah, for sure.
But in a way that makes me appreciate it more because it does bring me back to my youth in that way.
Yeah.
For new viewers, I don't know how it would be received.
So the 2 directors of this movie are Simon West and John DeBont, and these 2 guys are not nobodies. Like, you've definitely seen movies that they've made. They've made so Simon West did Con Air. He did. I had these all up a second ago.
Like
but
Expendables 2.
Expendables 2, yeah, that was him. But he's done stuff that you've most likely seen, and they're okay movies. And then John DeBont shot Die Hard, and he directed Speed
And Speed 2.
and Speed 2. Oh yeah, we talked about his career last night. It's like
Yeah,
it's
his
still
career kind of careened
Yeah.
and crashed and burned.
Speed Twister. Oh my God, I'm dying. And it's like, ooh.
Because I definitely didn't. I never saw the second one in theaters, and on the rewatch or the watch yesterday, I did not enjoy it.
Nope.
And the funny thing is, so you go back to Cinema Scores has not been around forever, but they've kind of retroactively done like voting for movies and whatnot. So like the Cinema Score for the first one was a B, the second one is a C minus or B minus. So like they're about the same with most people, but you go to like the critics, and the critics think the second one is significantly better than the first.
Sorry.
And I don't see that at all. Like I think they're both middling. Like I don't think like the second one's much worse than the first one.
I disagree wholeheartedly on the second one being better than the first, because the second one was trying to be a serious movie, even though everything about it should not be serious. And then they got kind of fun and wonky at the end, but it was too much serious beforehand, where they're trying to have a real like storyline with humans and stuff that we don't care about. We want her to be going into places and fighting lions and tigers and bears and having rock monsters go after her and alligators and other things. And like, that's Tomb Raider.
The second movie missed everything that made like the first one at least fun and bearable.
Yeah.
At the same time, I have a lot of complaints about the stylistic, like the directing of the first one. That don't bug me in the second
editing
one.
to me is the worst part of the first one.
There's like no transitions between scenes. It's just we're here now. Okay.
The music never stops.
yeah.
And it's so early, like you pointed out, early 2000s. And there are scenes where we're looking at people just staring at each other, and the music is swelling, and we're like, what am I missing? Am I supposed to feel a thing? We're holding on this person a really long time.
Which is ironic, because the joke line in the second movie is how she gets everywhere fast. She has to get there kind of like, let's go there faster. And it's like, the result of how you guys are editing at this with this joke is makes it slower and more boring.
Yeah.
At one point when I was watching the first one, back when I still cared, I watched the shower scene at the beginning of the first one.
with the
Early
side
2000s.
boob?
And
I
I
love their shower scenes.
Well, I saw the shower scene, and then I was like, this is a very long shower scene. So I backed it up. I got out my stopwatch, and I timed it, and it is 26 seconds long, and most of it is from the neck up. Why? She's like in the shower. We're just seeing her from the neck up. She's just flinging her hair back and forth. Is that we're not even seeing boob?
The most frustrating.
There is some
part
side
of that,
boob, including a little bit of side nipple. I saw this as a teenage boy, and I'll tell you, it worked for me as a teenage boy.
Brian's got
26
amazing nipple
seconds?
dar.
Yeah, but still,
She's not even like lathering. She's just flinging her hair around.
That's what.
again, as a boy, I was like, Yeah, this
Is that a
works.
thing? Just fling her hair around? Doesn't fling for 26 seconds?
Not now, but when I was a
Okay,
teenager and it was
alright,
Angelina Jolie in a
alright.
shower, I was like, yep, all
Yes.
right, cool.
I felt like this was a revelation to me that this was so short, but you guys don't seem alarmed by it.
No,
Or
I was
so
kinda
long,
cool with it.
rather.
To me,
Like,
the biggest problem with it is yes. So it's a long shower scene, but that is also something they did a lot back then. I remember.
Yeah.
lots of
that's
shower
a good
scenes.
point. That's a fair point.
The cheating part of that is later on. We see Daniel Craig in pretty much the exact same situation, and he does a little shake in the water with his head, and that's it. And it's only for like maybe 7 seconds, and I'm like, come on. He's supposed to be the love interest here. Why don't we just kind of sexualize him more? Come
But
on.
Daniel Craig didn't have the Daniel Craig body in this movie. Like the,
Still,
still had a
so
good body.
hot, though.
He's
but
still
he had
a
that
good body.
whiny fake American accent the whole time.
Why is the accent?
It's
Why is
weird.
that necessary?
Oh my! It was
Yeah,
awful.
it was like American with a little bit of Bronx and a little bit of New York.
Oh,
and
it's
a
not
little-
good. Not
Hey,
good.
I'm walking over here.
It's so weird.
I'm showering here.
Laura, no.
Yeah. Oh, the way he said Laura, he never said Laura. He said Lara.
Well, it's how it's spelled, I guess.
Yeah, but still, he's the only one who says it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, it was. He might be an attractive man. He was the wrong fit for this movie. That movie needed some Gerard Butler, which they totally.
There's a lot more Gerard Butler than there was of Daniel Craig.
Oh yeah.
Gerard Butler though was kind of a whiny dip face.
Oh my.
Yep. Yep.
He spends the whole movie telling Laura how she feels, what she wants, what she's in love with, and it's like, oh my god, thank you, 2002.
Yeah.
Definition of mansplaining right there.
Yeah,
I
boy.
was relieved at the end
Just
when she finally.
wear her down.
Yeah, when she finally shot him, I was like, finally.
Yeah,
I would have shot him a movie ago or half
I
a
like
movie
the
ago.
way you're thinking this guy's gonna betray her, and then he goes, "Psych, I'm not gonna betray you." And then later on, "Psych, I am gonna betray you." It was like, whoa, they keep changing my
Oh, man.
expectations.
it's like
saw
the
it
whole
coming.
world's upside down, just like they are in the cave.
I saw it coming a movie ago.
I can shoot you, and then later on, she does shoot him. So it's like, oh, okay.
I'm
you've
afraid
learned
that I could
something,
shoot you.
Megan?
Yeah, you learn that you're willing to shoot Gerard Butler.
But-
Congratulations, most of us are.
She already knew that. That's what was where she was like, "I'm leaving because I could kill you," and then later on, she does in fact kill him. I just think there was no growth.
No,
She was always gonna murder.
but if we're arguing about character growth in the Tomb Raider movies,
good
we're
point.
having the wrong argument.
Well,
But here's the thing,
We,
so-
we need a focal point because we're all across the
What-
board here.
What did we like about the movies? Like, what worked? Because
I
there
like
had
her outfit.
which one? There's a lot.
I like the standard Tomb Raider booty shorts, tank top, braid because that is an
Yeah.
outfit I can pull off.
And they did it well.
They did, yeah.
They even in the second one with the silver wetsuit.
Yeah.
They did try to like replicate what she looked like in the video games
Yeah.
as much
totally.
as possible.
And her hair looks really good.
Yes,
I
and
like
they
the
very good hair.
tendrils, the like constantly wet tendrils that must have given the hairstylists and just a constant conniption
we have to
on
make
set.
sure this is perfectly kind of touching your mouth. Make sure your mouth's a little bit open at all times, Angelina.
Just a little bit. We don't want to look like a dir, but at the same time, with that sexy mouth open.
Yeah,
But,
but that I've never been able to do. I've tried to do that in like selfie photos before, and it always looks dir. So that's
Yeah.
why I always
It's
just
a tough
do the
line to
smirk.
walk. The dir line is a tough line to walk.
I cannot do the pouty mouth open thing.
There is something to be said about Angelina Jolie in the first movie over the second one. Because the first one, she's having fun. Like, you
Yeah.
can tell that she enjoys the set that she's on. She's having fun being this, like, badass woman. Like, I love, like, the major thing that with her and kind of along with just the movie that the first movie does for me more so than almost any movie right now is it really makes me miss the time of practical sets, practical action sequences, because like they spent time and money on making these things look cool, like especially her in the home invasion scene. Like it's so clearly Simon West is like, I like Thunderdome, and
I want like bungee cords in my high ceilinged house so I can just jump around in my pajamas.
Yeah.
I mean, who would not
Her
enjoy that?
strategically only one button.
that's a hell of a button.
Shirt. I'm like, it really made sure that her boobs could have been exposed at any moment, but weren't.
Yep.
I
Again,
bet
as the
you
teenage
a young
boy, it's like,
child
come on,
were
button.
waiting.
I know
All
button-
in.
buttons aren't this good. Damn it. Damn it.
And for an adventurer, she wears a lot of white.
And
She
I
does.
will also say about that pajama set, bungee jumping with boobs like that, and you're not wearing a bra. is a bit of a weird choice.
I imagine she was uncomfortable.
Her running to get out of the collapsing, cave at the end.
Before the dog sled ride.
Yes.
Ooh, we need to put some straps on those things because they're slowing you down,
After-
honey. Is this slow motion or is this how fast you can run with them?
After that scene, I immediately went to the heavy boob song from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. Because it's like that's the first place I went to. I was like, oh wow, yeah, ouch.
Yeah.
but
they do hurt, man. They do.
With the practical sets,
Yeah.
that was phenomenal.
Yeah, the end sequence, like in that the dial, I don't even know, like the
I don't remember what they're called. There's a specific name for
but it was
planet thing.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the planets, and like that whole sequence, like they built that thing,
Yeah.
and it moved, and it was
They had cool locations.
yeah, like they did a lot of even in the second movie, like they were willing to go places. Like it didn't just feel like they shot it all on a backlot. Like they actually went and shot in these locations. So like they're very cool snapshots into how we used to make movies before everything was CGI. Like we just recorded an episode on Thor, which will come out later, that every single set in there has something of CGI in it. And this one, it was mostly practical, and it's kind of refreshing to see. I wish a better movie was attached to it, but it's still kind of cool to go back and watch these things. Like I was watching that last action sequence, and the first thing in my head is an American Ninja Warrior, and it's
Right?
but I like those things because I like watching people do these physical stunts and that sort of stuff. And that was the entire end of this movie, where these physical, looks like if you make one wrong step, you're breaking your neck stunts, and they're just really fun to watch.
It was.
Yeah.
And that's what makes me like the first one so much more than the second one. Because there is actual maze idea, like I have to figure out this problem and how to make this work. Whether or not it's in the end sequence with the planets, or it's the other sequence inside was it a Thai or Cambodian temple? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
South Asia temple with the rock monsters, which honestly, in every movie, are they ever
Rock
really
monster!
that bad? Like everyone seems to be able to defeat rock monsters really fast. Like we need to stop trying to make those as defenders. It didn't even work in Harry Potter.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so take note, heroes
It's
in
a
movies.
rock. It doesn't have any vulnerable spots.
It's like ninja robots and turtles.
Yeah.
Just fodder.
But I had the same emotions again as an adult watching those sequences that I had as a kid playing the video game.
Yeah.
Like Laura has to jump around, do some twirls, get on top of things, make shit happen,
Solve a puzzle.
solve a puzzle.
Yeah.
And she's very good at it. And I didn't get that from the second one really.
No, the second one, there's a weird shift between the two movies, because the first movie felt like a love letter to the video game, which is great. Doesn't make for a great movie, but it's still a fun movie. Like you'll still watch it, you'll feel like you're watching somebody play a video game, which has its ups and downs. The second movie, it's like, what if we were to make her James Bond? Like, what if we had our own female James Bond series set around this?
I do not care about her fighting some sort of eagle, or not eagle.
I'd watch her fight an eagle. That'd be
Yes.
cool.
that's actually. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I
Finish
would
up.
her fighting an evil organization like that isn't the Illuminati, just like some rando bioweapon terrorist. I'm like, that is not Tomb Raider. No, she needs to be fighting things like the Illuminati or some other thing. And it's cool that they're going after Pandora's box, but we have so much meddling human shit of her dealing with espionage and crap that I don't care about.
And they actually, she was asked in an interview once if she would ever be a Bond girl, and she said no, but I'll be Bond. And then she did Salt.
Yeah.
I
mean,
liked Salt.
I did too.
I mean, I get why she's not acting now as much. Like, she's a mom and she wants to direct and all that sort of stuff. But like, I do miss her in like these sort of lead woman action roles, because she did them well. Like every time she showed up as a front woman in an action film, she was great.
Well, it was it was good. It was also problematic because like this movie kind of launched her as an action hero,
Yeah.
and for a while I was writing action movies starring female characters, and everyone kept saying, "Well, there's no point if you can't get Angelina to be in it because she's the only woman who can be in these movies." And it was like, but before
Mila.
Tomb Raider, she wasn't.
Yeah.
You create a role and you put a good actress in it, they will become an action star. You don't like,
Yeah.
oh, well, we don't have any except Angelina. So that was the thinking for a really long time, was she's the only one. That's why she was the only one for so long.
That's the thinking of Hollywood in general.
Yeah.
They don't create trends, they chase trends.
Yeah, they accidentally created a trend and they just chased that whole thing into the ground.
Yeah.
Because Salt wasn't super successful. It was a good movie. I enjoyed it, but it didn't do great. And then she kind of stopped doing the action roles, which I get, I understand. But at the same time, like, she was very good in these roles. The second one,
Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Mr.
So
and Mrs.
good.
Smith,
Oh, so
I think ages really well.
Yeah.
It does, yeah. I mean, I loved it at the time, but every time I rewatch it, it's still a really solid film.
Such a joy. To
Yeah.
watch.
It's fun.
Yeah, but so back to Tomb Raider. What didn't work? Like, what was the major sticking point? Like, if you had to pick one thing that would make you go, "Don't watch these movies," what would it be?
The human aspect.
Yeah,
Because in the video game, she's generally alone the whole time.
I mean, she'll have like support staff. Like her
She'll have
butler's a character.
Her support
and,
staff a little bit, yes. And yes, she will fight guys with guns sometimes.
a lot. Yeah,
But for me, that was never the pull. I liked Tomb Raider because it was a woman on her own solving puzzles and adventuring.
yeah, yeah. And it's funny because she was such a progressive character that video games later went, "Oh, how about if a man were to do it?" And we got Nathan Drake.
We also, considering it's like, ooh, a woman, she's a badass on her own. She is the only woman in the movie.
Yeah.
In both of them. So it's not that progressive. I mean, there's like
Well,
one
in this-
woman with one role.
just-
in the
No,
second-
I was
one
talking more
line
about
the
in
second
video
one.
games. She was progressive.
Oh,
as
no,
like, yeah. In
yeah.
the
That's why
movies,
I'm talking
no.
about
In the-
the-
yeah.
That's why I like the first one more because she's just really on her own. Her love interest isn't with her.
Yeah.
She's just figuring it out. She gets into the tombs herself. She goes a different direction than the guys are going. Yeah. And
Now-
in the second movie, we have however much I love Gerard Butler, he's just kind of tagging along the whole time because apparently she needs
They're
him to
two peas in a pod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like she needs to break him out of prison because he's the only one that can figure out this the not drug cartel, but whatever cartel in
Yeah.
Europe.
He's the only one
In
that can get her
Asia?
caught
Yeah.
by the drug cartel. It's like,
You couldn't have just told her, just go there and
Yeah.
just say
Yeah.
hi.
Why
Here's
did you
longitude,
have to take him
latitude. See you
along?
later.
It's so it was just so annoying to me. Like she doesn't need you. Why are you here?
Now, here's a question. Now, I could be remembering it wrong, so I could be whatever. But it felt to me like in the first movie, there's very little questioning of her capabilities because she's a woman, and it felt like there was more of that. In the second
fact, Daniel Craig is a damsel in distress in that
Yeah.
movie who she has to save.
Yeah, but did that happen as much in the second movie? I felt like the second movie, specifically because of Gerard Butler, there was a lot more of like, meh.
everyone is
She
telling
never
her
saves him.
what to do, how to feel, how to be, and how
Yeah.
good she is at things. Everyone in the movie. Everyone.
And within that, she also, at the same time, doesn't seem to care about anyone in the second movie. In the
Yeah,
first movie, you get a feeling that she does have emotions towards people around her. She just wants to do stuff on her own.
Yeah, specifically like her butler and then her best friend guy. Like,
Yeah.
they're legit characters in the first movie.
In
The second one,
the second one, she blows up a plane in order to land it and scares the crap out of a fisherman who
she
she
kills that
probably
fisherman.
did kill.
That fisherman died. He was an old guy who just had the worst heart attack.
Yeah,
And
just
drowned.
Multiple things she does in the second one where it's just like your collateral damage is atrocious here, honey.
Yeah.
And even with the two Greek guys who are ogling her for the entire opening of the movie, and then they get murdered, and she doesn't seem to care or even call the cops.
They're even
Yeah.
like joking with her in the boat about like, ha ha ha, you shouldn't go swimming unless you have a plan or whatever the fuck they say. I don't know. But
Great
it's
quote.
like, it's like her entire team was just is dead. And they're
she
all like,
doesn't
la
give a
la la.
shit.
Yeah, she doesn't give any shits.
I really liked how he got his throat slit and he still shouted Lara afterwards.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of other things to hit on this movie.
I mean,
the problem, like, I don't want to say they're stupefying, but it's kind of like you have the almost shell shock after watching both of them, because I wanted to watch them pretty much back to back, and you have this weird like, what time capsule did I just like stumble upon? Like these things.
So early aughts.
Yeah, like it nails that early 2000s, like we're not the 90s anymore, we're paving our own way, and it's like,
And our way kind of sucks.
yeah, maybe we shouldn't.
I think we all had a collected, not whiplash, concussion from 9/11
Sure.
in 2001, and it made us all make bad choices politically, of course, and then fashion, and then in some movies and stuff. It's just like it's a weird growing period where we didn't really know what was going on, and we just kept trouncing forward and destroying shit.
Well, and we're in like action movies in particular. Like, these movies are a great picture of this. Of we didn't really know what we wanted from them anymore, because The
Yeah.
Matrix had come along and rejuvenated everything action and changed what we wanted from action movies.
Yeah.
Plus
Some-
Crouching Tiger, too.
And Crouching Tiger, yeah,
All
the
wire
same
work.
people, yeah. Like
Yeah.
we want these new things, and this one is kind of like but what if we kind of have both? Like maybe we can do the wire work, crazy stunt stuff, and still be all practical and this. And both movies are kind of stuck in this transition period that just doesn't work. Like
Yeah.
as cool as parts of them are, and like I know you like the first movie better, they still just don't work as films.
And it's obvious from like minute 1 of the first movie where it opens with an unnecessarily long action sequence that has no bearing on the plot. It's only there to introduce us to our character. And it's just like, it's totally a forgettable action sequence. But like it opens with this robot who, as you noted, was on my notes.
Yeah.
She is stronger than the robot. Physically, she wrestles it and wins.
and turns it into a giant iPad.
Yes.
iPod.
But when we first see her do all these cool moves, because this movie's really big on like, look at how cool these moves are.
Yeah.
The music is like,
Yeah.
it's like very like.
Oh, the music is Blade.
early
Oh yeah, it's total Blade.
early 2000s techno in movies.
I'm just so impressed that you got
Woof.
it exactly note by note. For a minute, I was like, well, where did Emily go?
It is the
Emily turned into an iPod.
the soundtrack to these movies is definitely some old dude going, this is what the kids are listening to these days.
I don't think so. I think this is those transitional periods in any decade are always rough, and they're always just like people like, I don't know what we want.
I think the people deciding those songs thought those songs were legitimately cool.
Yeah, I think they're like they scored that opening action sequence. And go, yeah. People are just gonna be like, "Holy shit, this is cool!"
Oh man, this song really makes those guns stick closer to her thighs. Yeah.
Yeah, Caspian created the earthquake for the second movie. Caspian
Sword.
rocks.
Somewhere, someone is listening to this and going, "I like the Tomb Raider movies."
Well, that's like I understand why there's an audience for these things. Like I told people, like I was watching the second one at work, and I had a friend, still friend of the show, but she just hasn't been on it forever, Tracy, and she was like, "What are you watching? Tomb Raider?" She's like, "Oh, I love the Tomb Raider movies." And I was like, when's the last time you watched them?
Love the first one, not the second one.
Well, the thing is, like, I think they both age equally well, and it's just whether or not you're into it. Because if you're into like the campy sort of fun video gaming movie, then you'll like the first one. If you're not, the first one's a complete joke, and you'll like the second one. So they're for two different audiences that are also the same audience, and it's just a big collection of bad ideas.
Yeah.
Except for Ian Glenn as the villain of the first one, because I saw him and I was like, oh, okay, I know what movie this is. I'm on board with this.
There was so much mirroring for like when I watched the first one. I have to say, not the insane level of joy, but close to reasons I like Resident Evil so much. And he's in Resident Evil.
Yeah.
He is fantastic in these type of movies. He chews that scenery.
Oh, yeah.
His hair, like, oh my god.
That's I wrote
His
actually.
dye job.
I wrote this whole note largely about every scene she's in with him, like about how anytime he's on camera, it's like a weird action Fellini movie because it's sort of just like it's like. I found a clock. Oh, really? You are quite beautiful. Am I? It's about time you said so. Let's not fight. No, let's. And then they just like look at the camera and punch each other in the face. It was so weird.
I love that he takes a fucking masseuse into the jungle with him. Like,
Yeah.
he has this tent of luxuriness that he's hanging out in. And especially after they leave the temple after fighting the rock monsters, and Laura's still in there, and they're just out there waiting. They're all lounging on the couches with the masseuses and the
Oh, did you make it
grapes
out
and-
now? Cool.
Oh, you're here again. Are we doing that? Are we still fighting? Okay. I got my
They
refresher.
forgot what movie they're in.
I'm so happy that Ian Glenn got Game of Thrones because if it wasn't for Game of Thrones, he'd just be that like random B movie
Sleazy.
villain.
Yeah.
Now he's the guy who obsesses over Daenerys and will
Still
never
kind
get
of
her.
sleazy.
I wonder if the new Tomb Raider will have a Game of Thrones villain.
Don't. Well, it has Walton Goggins, so I don't think so.
Well, fair
and I
enough.
love
Yay,
Walton
Walton
Goggins.
Goggins is great.
He's so good.
Great.
And
Man,
it's-
there's a guy who's
maybe he'll
great
be
at
on
playing
Game-
villains.
Maybe
Yeah.
he'll be on Game of Thrones season 8.
Yeah, there you go.
there you
There's
go.
still time. Not a lot, but some.
There's some.
He's one of the dragons, if you didn't know.
Oh God, now I'm picturing Walton Goggins' face on one of the dragons. Oh,
So
redneck dragon.
we've talked about what works, doesn't work. We've talked about Angelina Jolie. We've actually kind of talked about the supporting dudes as well. What
That's
happened?
it, we're done.
Yeah, I mean, we've hit a lot of this thing, and we've mostly talked about how terrible they are and confusing they are. Is there anything like?
I like her support staff because they're kind of like the bumbling women that would support James Bond in real
Yeah.
life. They're like, yes, we are Penny whatever, or what are their names?
Money Penny.
Money Penny and other things of like these women who love James Bond and maybe we'll get to sleep with him someday. Who knows? And yes, they kind of epitomize that while still being respectful to her at the
Yeah.
same time.
I like that she has a butler who I guess just is there to slut shame her. Is his purpose in that house because he doesn't really do much else. He does get some guns. He does do the guns, but then later on you see her like burning a TV dinner. It's like you live in a really expensive house with a butler. Why is that a thing?
She's a strange rich person.
She
And would have killed him to lock the butler in a closet just once, just for us gamers out there.
Yeah.
Oh, is that a thing in the game?
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
miss.
She is my favorite type of rich person. Like, I wish more rich people were like her.
I really want the bungee jumping kit in my
I
living
liked
room.
the horse riding with gigantic leather jacket.
Was she riding side saddle?
I don't remember.
Okay.
But I just remember.
I think she just turns around at one point to shoot one of the
okay,
things.
okay.
I
I was
remember
expecting
staring
that to
at
come
that
back.
jacket.
Yeah, me too. Like
Yeah.
they spend time doing that action sequence and then never again.
It's like, oh, she could horseback ride, but that has no relevancy. For
Yeah,
the
let's
rest
just
of
go
the
from one mansion to the other.
movie. Yeah, exactly.
She's so bloody rich.
Oh,
Why is she so bloody rich? Her dad was an adventurer too.
That's
Where
what I
did
was
the
going to
money
ask
come
about.
from?
Her just pointing out that her dad is her dad in this movie.
Yeah.
And that's, I guess, before they hated each other, or she hated him. I don't know.
Yeah. No, it was definitely these movies were made before the falling out.
Yeah, I mean, she was still married to Billy Bob during these.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that
She
was a weird time.
young woman in this movie.
That means she was still carrying around a vial of his blood.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
She kept us guessing with whether or not those lips were real or not.
They were real, I think.
It's just they're so weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird for
Let's
her.
pick apart her body, guys.
Yeah.
Let's
But
start
her
talking
lips
about
are
it.
weird. You know that.
What is there anything else we want to talk about that we haven't hit? We've been talking for about an hour. There's a lot to say in these movies, and there's also very little.
I have more to say about the first one than the second one. I just didn't really enjoy the second one.
Yeah.
There's still no sex scene. There's like a moment in the set. There's no sex scenes in the first one, and then the second one, there's a moment where we think we're about to get a sex scene, and then it does not. I'm
kinda-
really upset about that.
I kind of like it that they didn't do it because it felt like that would have been the
Out of
easy
character.
out, and it wouldn't have been Tomb
They
Raider.
showed her fucking showering for
Well,
26
yeah,
seconds.
because boys used to masturbate to the pixelated version of her, so you had to get a
Yeah.
naked version in there. But she never bangs in the video game, so it
Okay.
kind of would have been a little.
All right.
be
I,
weird.
as a
It's kind of a
person
transition.
who enjoys looking at sex scenes, I would have liked to see it.
I also got kind of annoyed during that sex scene because he has pants around the whole time, and once she gets on top, he starts acting like he's already penetrating her, and I'm like, no, like.
I think that's just him going like, "I wish I wasn't wearing denim."
So that's a face of agony, not
Yeah.
ecstasy.
Yeah.
These teeth are not friends with my dick.
She must have been pushing hard.
I also love when we were watching that sequence. I'm like, how many times did her boobs pop out? So they just taped the entire
yes,
towel to her boobs. 'Cause
they
those,
were,
they
like-
stick to her chest.
Well, little known fact: Gerard Butler suffered a concussion during that scene. She's like, "Oops, it's a hospital visit now.
She whacked him. With
I'm afraid of what I'm going to do to you when I'm here."
yikes. I'm calling for quotes. I'm done circling the drain on this thing.
We killed it.
We killed it.
I'm really hoping the next one. I mean, I hope it's a good movie. I don't want it to take itself too seriously again. I still want it to be campy and with her fighting weird monsters. And
It won't be. It will not be because it looks like they're modeling off the reboot of the game, which there's very little of that in the reboot of the game.
It's
And
mostly more like The Descent.
Yeah, no, it's more like Uncharted. Like they just basically remade Uncharted with
more
Lara Croft.
realistic
Yeah,
Tomb Raiding.
and
Which,
they're
that's the-
great games, and they made a lot. They actually made the character like worthwhile and fun, and no longer just there to go like, oh look, boobs. We like boobs, and
Yeah.
she's like
Where's
a
the
well-rounded
naked
character now.
Yeah.
And
But that's
Yeah.
fun and stuff. But I appreciate that. But it's not the reason I liked Lara Croft growing up.
yeah, well,
That even especially with the new video game with the guy going, we really wanted to make sure people were going to care about her, so we wanted to put her in peril at all times. I was like, no.
that's a weird reasoning.
Yeah, I hated it when the guy said that because as a young girl who didn't really play that many video games growing up, but I played these, I liked it because she was independent, she did crazy shit, she fought weird monsters, and it was intense.
had
And
a
now
cool
they
outfit.
got rid
Yeah.
of all that. Now she's just a girl in the jungle with a pickaxe.
And I will say,
and a bow and arrow.
and added to that, yes, there was sex appeal. Yes, I'm sure boys were masturbating to her, but her outfit is also practical.
It
It's an outfit
is.
you
Yeah.
would wear to do that kind of thing. It's not like
I might wear long
absurd,
pants instead of short, but
True.
I'd probably wear a tank top.
But it's not like an absurdly oversexed
No.
outfit.
No,
that-
it's not like the boob armor like in video like fighting games. Like it's nothing like that. Like they actually made like a legit outfit.
So, yeah, I mean, I miss the crazy Lara Croft fighting rock monsters, however non-realistic rock monsters are.
And
I do too, but I'm still excited for this movie. I love Alicia Vikander. I think she's gonna be really good in it.
I'm sure it'll be fun, but it's not going to be the Laura that I loved. And then they're never really going to bring that back.
Well, and that was cool to see that where she was already cool. Like the first movie was like she's already cool. She's already doing her thing. She is
an origin story.
Yeah,
I mean, we get a flashback of it, but not much.
And even though the game reboot's good and I really like it and all that, there's like this. They didn't have to really reboot Nathan Drake ever. They never had to like start him at ground zero. Like they do that in flashbacks later to build his character, but he started off being good. It's like we're missing that she's a badass already.
Yeah, and if they tried to make her better by mirroring Nathan Drake, that annoys me even more because why did she never had to mirror man
She never
before.
she never had to have a trial by
Yeah.
fire. Or he never had to have a trial by fire.
I mean, essentially, Nathan Drake ripped off Tomb Raider. The entire Uncharted series just ripped off Tomb Raider, and they basically just took it back. I was kind of okay with it because it worked, and the second game was way better than the first game because they got rid of the whole just damsel thing, and she was just a badass the whole way through.
Yeah.
Still in a lot of.
I'm
mythical
hoping she's
stuff.
not a damsel in the new movie at all.
She doesn't look like it. Looks like she's a badass.
They didn't make her sassy like that girl in the. Sassy. I hated that article, by the way. I don't know if you guys read that.
Yeah,
article.
that was a rough one.
I wanted to make Tomb Raider sassy, and they took it away from me.
Captain
Now I'm making Captain Marvel sassy. I'm like, oh my god, lady, I don't know you personally, but no woman wants to be called sassy.
No one. It's not sexy at all.
Nope,
There's nothing
that is a
sexy about
term
being
for
sassy.
men.
Like, yeah, and it's so annoying that whole article was written by a woman. Sassy's one step away from a dude saying, "You got spunk, kid."
Yeah.
And I don't like hearing that shit.
I think, I know this is such a petty thing, but I think just I know we talked about this in the other episode, but.
That's not out yet, so it's okay.
Oh, okay. But doing away with the mohawk and giving her the long hair, it's sort of like that's a statement too, because the mohawk is such a sign of power and just badassness, and I don't give a shit what you think about me. Yeah.
It's a bummer. Quotes. I'm going to see how much of that actually stays in the episode. I'll be interested.
Yeah.
So I haven't actually got one.
I have a great one.
Go ahead.
You don't have mine. Go for it.
Okay, I probably don't. I hope I don't have
I
hers.
know you don't.
It's when the UPS guy shows up to the destroyed house, and her line, "I woke up this morning and I just hated everything." I was like, that's a great line. Just the casualness which she said it.
She's having so much fun in the first movie. It's
Yeah.
really enjoyable to watch. Mine comes from the second movie. And it's all inaudible, but I'm going with it anyways. Just blah, blah, and then she punches a shark in the nose.
And the shark is just like, what?
Did she just punch me in the nose? I'm going away.
This is a bummer.
I like it in the first movie when she's doing her full Bond impersonation. She looks down at Daniel Craig's penis and goes, "Always a pleasure."
She had so much fun in the first
Yeah.
movie.
She totally objectified Bond before he was even Bond.
Yeah.
Don't we all objectify him?
Yeah.
I did not. When I was younger, when these movies first came out, I didn't see what was so big deal. And now, when I was watching Casino Royale the other day, I was like, oh.
Oh, when he walks out of the water.
I get it now. No, just his face. Like I was not. I think it's because I've gotten older, and now I don't know. Just something about him is much more attractive to me now.
Yeah, there was a very good story of CHEWIE with somebody who we're not really close with anymore, but so they went to go see Cowboys vs. Aliens, and she had troubles with herself just watching Daniel Craig in that
She
one.
couldn't handle his bare arms. She was trembling during that movie. She was the only person that could get to go to that movie with me because of Daniel Craig. And then we were all kind of disappointed in that movie.
That movie sucked, but he and Olivia Wilde were real hot in it.
Olivia Wilde and her no bra, which is actually very period good.
Yeah.
Period specific. Period good.
Period. Good.
Yes. That's my Hulk right there.
There it is. Next.
From the first movie, I like because I said I really enjoyed the Fellini-ness of this movie. So I love the part where Ian Glenn is he's talking about the clock, but he's looking at Angelina at Lara, and he's going, "I don't think I've ever seen anything quite so beautiful that I know so little about." He's really talking about her, but he's supposedly talking about the clock.
Mind explosion.
Also, how was that a clock? I didn't understand, but
It was a clock, and then she smashed it in one of the most poorly edited shots in the entire two movies.
that's a bold claim. There's a lot of
Like
poorly
her
edited shots.
smashing, but her smashing that clock was just like, what? What just happened? What?
Last but not least.
All right, I'm guessing going to go with, because John had one of my two. So why would I try and cheat you out of anything now? I need you to get that piece so I could steal from you later. I just found the equipness of that pretty fun.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, so review system for today is going to be video game movies.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So I'm going with Alone in the Dark. because it's fucking garbage. But for some reason, I still enjoy watching it. And that's me with the Tomb Raider movies. Not great, but for some reason, I still kind of enjoy watching them.
Prince of Persia.
Okay.
Another not so hot. Lots of weird casting choices. The Gyllenhaal is not Arab at all.
Nope.
Not even close. Nor is pretty much anybody else in the movie. But it's fun. It really wanted to be the video game, and they did a pretty good job with the video game-ness. And it does not that memorable, so if you...
Totally forgot about it.
Yeah. So if you had no connection to the video game, like enjoyed watching people play it or play it yourself, I mean, a lot of people who played it, I think, hated the movie too. I don't know.
Yeah.
But honestly, out of all the things that have come out about video games, when it comes down to how similar to the source material is it, at least for the first Tomb Raider and for Prince of Persia, I thought they did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Street Fighter. It's not a good movie. But there are some ridiculous fun. It's very dated. But there are some ridiculously fun things sometimes in it, and Raul Julia looks like he's having, a pretty good time.
I just hate that that's his last movie.
Yeah, I think that's why he's having a good time. He's like, I'm dying. Fuck you. I'm doing this stupid movie. It's awesome.
So I'm gonna go with Hitman, the Timothy Olyphant one.
I never saw that.
I was on board with what it was bad. It was kind of one of those ones where I was cued in with how bad it was going to be from the beginning, so I could get with it. And that, I think at least with the first one of the whatever this movie we watched called Tomb Raider. I forgot what it was. I was like,
man, this is forgettable.
I had the same level of fun with Hitman that I did watching Tomb Raider, the first one. That it was like, this movie knows what it is. It's playing its hand early, and it was like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
It's, but ultimately,
yeah, there it is. Last but not least,
I guess I'm gonna go with Double Dragon.
I love Double Dragon.
It's like a time
That is
capsule.
one of Brian's favorites.
It's so good.
It's a time capsule of corniness, really, and that's what I felt like the first movie was. So
They used Cheese Whiz to power a car. Exactly. That movie is amazing.
it's all about perspective, man. So,
Oh man, I want to watch that again. It's free on YouTube, guys. Just check out Double Dragon. It's so good.
My favorite video game movie will always be Mario Brothers, but
Not Resident Evil, really?
Resident Evil went beyond the video game.
Sure. Yeah,
I don't like the part where people are cut apart in lasers. I can't watch it.
that's a rough scene.
Yeah.
I was
I
gonna
love
say
that scene.
GoldenEye, but that's
GoldenEye's so good though.
that's kind of a video game movie.
It's
Kind of.
The game is better than the movie, and the game's not good anymore. So
Yeah. Oh, that did not age.
wrong on both counts.
No, that game did not age.
I
well
will
at all.
fight for that. If we do a James Bond battle, I'm picking GoldenEye.
We've done too many James Bond battles.
Oh,
We've
I
done
missed
3 of
all
them
that.
already.
we way
It was
overdid
before
it.
your time.
Well, I would have picked GoldenEye.
Somebody already did, and it won.
Yeah,
nice.
as it should.
I believe it was Graham. I could be
Yeah.
wrong, but I think it was Graham. Yeah, those are fun episodes. Speaking of episodes, though, this one's done.
Dun, dun, dun.
Click. Just cut it off right there.
Off.
And we're done.
Yeah. So quick round of plugs, www.athpod.com. You can find our articles. You can find our games. You can find our podcasts if you're not already getting them elsewhere. iTunes, please rate and review us. I've been saying it now for a few weeks in a row. It really does help us out, especially if we want to ever get those ad money, which, I'm sure you all hate listening to, but they help us. And we'd love to be able to, afford to do more cool stuff.
Yeah.
I put my website together on Squarespace.
Ooh.
It's EmilyBlakeSews.com. I make costumes for
Yes.
cosplayers. But Squarespace, give us money.
Yeah. Hey, Squarespace. Hey, Lootbox. Lootbox, you just sign up for. I haven't signed up for him. Chewie, your plugs are same as always. Watch Superstore.
Superstore, Drunk History.
Drunk History.
Wrapped, but I'm sure you can still watch it on Hulu. Not Wrapped. Had it
Finished, yeah. Tom, anything to plug?
Well, my job is plugging other things. So.
Yeah.
And I think I'm good. I'm doing it in my job. So yeah.
Perfect.
There you go.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.